Thank you for your attention. My name is Donna Delparte. I'm from Idaho State University, a faculty member in the Department of Geosciences, and my co-presenter here today is Meg Tracy, and Meg is a graduate student in our Geotechnologies program. We're working on a project that's funded through the National Science Foundation to look at re-envisioning this river channel that goes through our local city, Pocatello, Idaho, and looking at kind of a past before the channel was put in back in the late 50s and 60s, looking at the current scenario with the channel there, and then re-envisioning it. So there's a movement in the city, some funding available to develop a new plan for how do we visualize this, how do we work with the Portneuf River Master Plan Committee to make something work and build some new models. So Meg's been very actively building these different scenarios from past, present, and future.
All right, thanks. So one of the things that we've been doing is working with a community coalition and committee of people from the city, people from various interested groups, and local residents in Pocatello. And as a part of that, we're putting together this vision of what Pocatello used to look like. And there are very few members of this committee that are old enough to remember this time. And so the kind of attitudes that have come down through the years about the river channel before it was turned into its present day state are generally overwhelmingly negative. And one of the comments that we got in a meeting was that someone said, if you think that this was anything other than a foul drainage ditch, you're wrong. But as part of my process in creating this 3D version of 1959 Pocatello, Idaho, my task is to kind of go down to a minute level of detail in the data that I have from these historical ortho images and see what I can pull out in order to make it a more realistic representation of that. And what I've been able to see is that it's a little bit more complex than just a foul drainage ditch. You know, you see here that we have abundant vegetation along the river, and that is providing habitat for important local species and also some filtration and purification and some other important environmental tasks there. So I think that this also gives us a unique opportunity with our committee to reframe that discussion and sort of bring a different vision of the past to the local people in Pocatello.
It was actually referred to as the open sewer going through the city.
Yeah, so you know, I can't look at this and know what it smelled like and bring that to life again, and perhaps that is a benefit of this format. I'm also turning our data that we can acquire from a county and local level into a vision of what Pocatello currently looks like, and this Portneuf River corridor as it is channelized in downtown. This may be a little bit familiar to you if you noticed on your way into the campus. On the right there's the Mission Channel is pretty similar to this actually, but we are lacking the amenities that we have here, which is the bike path, which is really beautiful. And that is one of the things that has been brought up time and time again as being really important to local residents, having access, having a transportation corridor there, and having that turned into a more natural setting. And our current river channel is so unnatural and so hidden and restricted that actually a lot of the feedback that we've gotten is that people say, there's a river in Pocatello? When we're asking them, what do you think about the Portneuf? And a lot of people say, I didn't know that we had a river. And I think that's really interesting as part of this process on how we can bring this into the future, even just bringing some awareness to turning this into an asset instead of something that we've kept hidden away.
And part of the reason it remains hidden is that it's a lower income area, and it's offering an opportunity for redevelopment, and we're selecting some areas that city is selecting some areas that are going to be the low-hanging fruit for redevelopment.
So that redevelopment, one of our tasks in the meetings that we're having is to gently apply some pressure to all of the ideas that kind of come flowing forth and turn that into a more concrete output. And so we've had some help with the city engineers on turning all of these amazing ideas into something that I can actually design, because without some focus to that, it's just going to be my personal vision of the future of the Portneuf, and I don't think that really anybody needs to see that, probably. But we do need to see what a consensus view is on what they would like to be seeing. And some of the big ones there were being able to walk directly to the river and access it in person without having barriers. We also see that habitat is a big one. Our heritage in the West and in Idaho, fishing is incredibly important. And that's something that's really been kind of taken away from the community, especially in this downtown area that they're focused on. And that is one aspect of this redesign where we can really bring people together and find some more consensus, even when you have some very different political viewpoints or values. We still find that people are interested in bringing this kind of access and quality habitat for fisheries back into their river.
A big component of this project is enhancing ecosystem services. So we're looking at quantifying how changes like this can actually improve ecosystem service function in the city.
Yeah, so what we have here is, transitioning from 1959 Pocatello, where we had a river that may have provided some of those ecosystem services, but also flooded. And so the control put on that really only provides one benefit, and that is that it prevents flooding in our downtown area. But we've lost all of those other benefits that came along with a more natural river setting. So after creating this vision of the future that we've kind of been able to coalesce from all of these different viewpoints, our next steps are then to get feedback from the city of Pocatello and probably go through several more iterations of our model. One of the things that we've discovered in bringing this to the public is that their access point is to find a landmark that they recognize and then kind of be able to move through that landscape as they become more familiar with it. And that will then allow people to give us more nuanced feedback on what it is that they like about this environment and what they don't like. And I'm imagining that we're going to have a lot of discussion on that front, certainly.
It's a nice iterative, collaborative process that CityEngine is allowing us to take the committee on this journey. And kind of another next step after this is actually importing the CityEngine data into Unity 3D, which would allow that virtual walk-through type of environment.
Oh, we lost our...
I think we're there. First one, yep. Oh.
We do also have this in a little bit more interactive format. And so people can view this from a web platform and navigate through it in 3D.
Yeah, so please visit the website and have a look. It's an interactive way to navigate through this area of Pocatello.
Great.
Thank you.